Hello everyone, this is John, the Prepared Mind, and I am still sick as a dog. I'm going to do what I can to get this video out and make a couple of key points. The war continues. The war that is to defeat evil, and at the same time it's becoming more apparent all the time that everybody needs to be prepared. And when I say everybody needs to be prepared, I mean everyone, whether you're rich or poor or somewhere in the middle. Unfortunately, many people don't have the means to be prepared, and unfortunately, those who know best aren't necessarily the good guys. What I mean by that is people who have their tails in the crack know it. And the people who have the power, like President Trump, is doing everything he can to keep shit from hitting the fan in such a way that it causes, massive death, destruction, loss. Anyways, the need to be prepared has never been greater. So let's start here with the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is the highest power as far as law enforcement, as far as investigating, as far as the most credentialed, and it was the most respected here in the United States of America. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, as far as I am concerned, has always existed under a cloud, but for most people, they see them as having very high standards. And what I point back to is J. Edgar Hoover, who ran the FBI for decades and decades and used it for political purposes also. But be that as it may, the FBI has the best training, has the most resources, is federal, meaning it can operate across multiple jurisdictions. And it is feared also because of that authority, because of that power that they have. Now, it is well known, it is now public knowledge, it's in the public domain. There's no doubt about it in anyone's mind. They attempted the coup d'etat against President Trump. Democrats know it. They know it. There is no doubting it. They know it. And what they're hoping to do is get away with it. Like the Democrats, namely Barack, namely Hillary Clinton, namely John Podesta, namely Debbie Wasserman Schultz, namely Susan Rice and Loretta Lynch. And I never want to leave Eric Holder out of this. That guy, who knows how many people he's gotten killed. Okay, but let's look at the FBI. They were a law enforcement agency used as a political tool to bring down the President of the United States. That's asking for a constitutional crisis. That is asking for shit to hit the fan. It is asking to terrorize our nation. Terrorize it. There's no reason to impeach somebody or try somebody for a crime they haven't committed. But if this country was to see the president removed from office because of someone else's political desire and the use of the FBI, that would definitely, if they were successful, and everyone saw it, right, they would probably present it as, oh, the FBI just did their job. What a great bunch of guys. You know, nothing to worry about here. But it does destabilize the nation. It can cause shit to hit the fan, and that means you and me and everyone else being thrown in a whirlwind, toilet-flushing mix of crap. And that's about as colorful a euphemism as you're going to get out of me today. Well, you might get more John euphemisms. So it's just, I am really under the weather. Whatever I got has destroyed my voice and has taken me down 5 or 6 good pegs. Down but not out. And The board of truth here is about as good as it's going to get for me today. But we need to understand that the FBI was used, and it's been the guardian agency that is pushing for destabilization of our republic. So the next thing I want to talk about are the finance geeks. Finance, the economic, the banker types, people who were busy making money off of Wall Street. I listen to them because I want to know what's going on with our economy and what they're thinking as finance geeks and investment geeks. Well, they're highly analytical, and I don't think that that makes them moral. I have a lot of moral issues with people who are willing to make money off of other people on Wall Street. Instead of making money investing in a corporation, they would rather trade and cause other people to lose money to line their pockets. I'm not impressed with them, and it's hard to argue out of that. Anyways, the finance geeks, a lot of the ones I listen to, they are unhappy with what's going to happen. They see the financial, monetary problems that are coming. They see that our economy is toast, and more of them, more often now than ever, are starting to say things like, get prepared, and you need to put back some food. They're using terms like that. It's quite funny when you listen to people who talk about taking risk, risking finance. You don't need a savings account. You need to put your money on Wall Street, right? You need to go after this index or that index and make a mint. They start talking about putting back food. You know what that is? That's called a savings account. These guys are used to taking risk and sticking it out there, but they're seeing that maybe savings is a better way to go. So they're going to start saving food. Right? They're going to get ready. Now the really wealthy people, they've already got their SHTF condos all dug in. Security teams hired. They're on another continent. They're remote controlling things from other nations. Right? The ship is on fire. It's hit the iceberg. It's on fire. It's faltering. It's going down. And a lot of these people are offshore. They're gone already. But the ones that are talking about it, that normally report on it, these finance geeks, well, they're talking about prepping now. Every show, and I shouldn't say every, many of the shows I listen to they end on, well, this is what action we're going to take, but, if something goes bad, if we have a major economic reset, and most of them are pointing to that, they're saying, well, better put some food back. In other words, they're starting to recommend prepping. It's incredible. So let's move on to Trump and his popularity. Trump has a hard time being popular with the Republicans because they don't like a lot of his policies. Preppers have a hard time with Trump, right? Because he's a big spender. A lot of people have problems with Trump for a variety of reasons, right? He's a very polarizing person. But the mainstream media, the MSM, has reported that his popularity is moving up. Apparently he's around 50%. Now, does that mean that Trump all of a sudden did something different? No. But it's interesting to note that within the prepper community, there's a lot of anti-Trump, but we're just a small population percentage. Within the Tea Party, there's not a lot of love for Trump. Within the Republican Party, not a lot, and certainly not in the Democrats. But 50% of the population is pro-Trump. They're giving him the good guy. He's doing better. So what does that tell us? It tells us he's doing a magnificent job, despite all the adversity and opposition from his own side even. You see, the mainstream media hates him and they talk him down, so you can't count on any support coming from them. And I think that even over here on the side of conservatism and the side of law and order, that it's popular to shit on Trump so you don't sound like you're sticking your neck out, so you don't sound like a dumbass. Everyone wants to be on the side of a winner. And so everyone sides with the winning team. Well, the winning team has been anti-Trump for whatever reason. But it seems like people, when they take these polls, are giving the man a thumbs up. I don't know whether you believe in Trump as much as other people or I do or anyone else. I don't know if I believe in him like he's the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or Tooth Fairy, but I believe he's actually doing something that at the very least is going to remove a large, evil, negative force from our country, or at least he's trying to do that. And again, I do throw my reservations out, but I throw them out with this caveat. I don't know what our constitutional republic is going to be replaced with if he removes the deep state and upsets the apple cart so bad that we have a complete and total reset of the economic political system on an international basis. That's where I have my reservations. There's no guarantee that just because Hillary goes to prison, Obama gets a jail cell mate that's going to really take good care of him. We don't know what we get after that. That's where my big question marks come up. But for the time being, it looks like Trump is doing what he said he was going to do. He never came out, I don't think, and said we're going to cut government spending. Right? At least I don't recall that. But he did talk about the market being in a giant bubble, and he's been playing that up, the opposite of that, that the market's great. And a lot of people say that's a political mistake, and maybe it is, and maybe it's also kept our economy up a little longer, giving everyone, including you and me, a chance to learn more, understand what's going on more, and get more prepared. That is to say, if he had stepped into office, right, and at the end of last February in 2017, the market started to crash, right, people wouldn't be wanting to hear about him going after Hillary and the gang. They'd be more worried about their paychecks, their mortgages, their cars, etc. You see, people, and I'm no different, and I don't think you are either, when we're faced with our individual shit-it's-the-fan scenarios, which is job loss, personal tragedy, everything that could be considered a personal shit-it's-the-fan, relationship issues, everything else on the planet stops mattering. And we start worrying about those things, right, that matter to us personally. So by keeping the economy up, by talking it up, what has Trump done? He's allowed people the mental flexibility to look around and understand other things going on around them. Which brings me to QAnon. QAnon is this mysterious person / group, very anonymous, very mysterious, and also interestingly accurate. The awareness of what's going on around the country, because of the QAnon postings and then dissemination, has raised awareness. It is helping wake up. It is waking up Americans. Right? There's actually an interest level. I know all the shit that's going on. Fuck. But QAnon's posts come in the form of riddles that are simple, riddles that are moderately difficult, and then some riddles that are baffling. So for everyone out there who likes a crossword puzzle, and when I was a kid, when we got newspapers, there used to be crossword puzzles in the newspapers with little clues, and you filled them out. That's what we did before the internet. Before video games and computers. When it was too cold outside to go out and play football. When it was raining too fucking hard. Right? We'd do crossword puzzles. Well, QAnon is using these puzzles to not only disseminate information, but to keep people interested by helping them or allowing them to participate in this. And I don't want that underestimated. People like to be entertained. When Bill Clinton was doing all his stupid shit as president of the United States, at the very least, the bastard was entertaining. I always wondered, what lie can he tell next that is going to convince the American people that he's an all-right kind of guy? And he'd do it every time. It's very entertaining. But QAnon is entertaining, but also raising awareness. Not just in the prepper, not just in the patriot, not just within the truth community, not just for old people, but for everyone. Right? Everyone is waking up, or a lot of people, a bigger percentage, are waking up. And it's this dissemination of information in an entertaining way, and using social media to spread the word that many people that otherwise wouldn't know about what's going on are learning about what's going on. That probably is helping contribute to Trump's popularity. It's certainly making everyone aware of the FBI and the coup that occurred. And even the finance geeks, since they're on the Board of Truth today, even the finance geeks are getting something out of it. Because you'll hear even them talking about Q. And they'll let some of those little factoids slip out. So chance favors the prepared mind, right? And so you and I and others are now becoming preppers. I'm going to guess that prepping is gaining popularity once again. But most people are going to come to it too late. Too little and too late. And I've shown up at a party too late. You walk in the kitchen, the beer keg is tapped out, the snack trays are empty, and you hear about all the good things that have already occurred, and the party's winding down. For all these people that are showing up to the prepper party too late, right? The beer's all gone, the food's all gone, and the action, which will be deadly, is just going to be starting. So if you know somebody who should be a prepper and isn't, you can point them to the FBI and say, hey, look at this weird shit going on. Right? Point them to the finance geeks and say, hey, these guys are talking about a total collapse, and they know what the fuck they're talking about. Right? We need to get prepared. Point to QAnon, right? Who's waking people up. Part of waking up is becoming aware. Part of waking up is becoming self-reliant. Right? Figuring it out for yourself. Self-reliance and understanding the perils we face. Because if the FBI, the highest law enforcement power that's on the street in all 50 states and God knows who where else, who and where else, if they were willing to do this, to pull this coup d'etat off, and the people that were above them were willing to pull it off, that means there's agents and agencies, both foreign and domestic, who would be willing to help them do it. When I talk about scorched earth, that is, rather than be held responsible, caught, punished, the powers that be would rather destroy our nation, destroy the laws, destroy law enforcement, and that is what the FBI's actions are evidence of. A willingness to destroy everything, scorched earth to protect their own hides. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed to you all. Get prepared. I'll do my best to come back tomorrow. Hopefully my voice isn't any worse. And you guys stay frosty.